This is part two of Buugeng Choreography, my first attempt at kind of teaching or at least conceptualizing Buugeng Choreography. Again, I have zero actual experience in this. I've got about 4 years of Buugeng performance experience. Everything I've learned is more or less by trial and error. I have taken some workshops with an incredibly good local tribal dance instructor as well. If you're going to do choreography, versus just doing improv flow. I mean, improvised flow is what I do 90% of the time. I just listen to the song and spin to the song and, you know, kind of go where the song moves me. That's flow arts, and that's kind of where I started. If you're planning a big performance, you know, an audience performance, you know, a performance for an event, especially a themed performance, I feel that if you're going to do a choreography, it should be a whole cohesive piece, not just a series of, you know, different movements to different parts of the song. Each part should flow into another one, and what I try to do is match movements to the music. Musicality is really important to me. It always has been. I started as a DJ. Before I got into performing in poi or buugeng or anything, I was a DJ for many, many years. So musicality is really important to me. So I try to match movements to the music. I try to change when the music changes. I try to change in movement and direction as the song progresses. Again, I try to do things to the chorus. One of the things that I used to do that was a bad habit was, for the chorus of the song, I'd pop the same move into the chorus of the song. You know, if there's if the chorus plays 3-4 times in the song, and I had a really good, you know, pinwheel that I was working the chorus, then, you know, 4 times in that song, boom, I'm pinwheel, you know, all 4 times. Maybe I'd change it up and go, oh, now I'm going to do pinwheel on this side. But I was doing the same thing. One of the things that I've learned over the years, and as I try to get more stage interaction, stage presence, is you can do a similar movement, but you can change it up. You can make it more interesting for the audience. So maybe you know, boom, I'll do the pinwheel the first time, but then the second time the chorus comes around, I might hit the same position, but I'll do slides, or I'll do something more rotational. So again, you've got the same kind of positioning, you've got the same kind of phrasing in your performance, but it's not just saying the same thing over and over again. And I think that's important, especially with buugeng, especially with really any prop. One of the rules that I've only started recently following is no more than 4 movements, or no more than 4 iterations of the same movement. If you go more than 4 iterations of the same movement in the same part of the song, it tends to get boring for the audience. Even with buugeng, which is very mesmerizing, if you're just doing the same spin, you know, 4, 5, 6, you know, this is getting boring, this is getting annoying. So that's one of the things that is my own personal rule of thumb. I know other performers have similar rules where you don't want to do the same thing, you know, multiple times in the song. You want to make it more interesting, make it more visually interesting. Clean and precise. Buugeng is, to me, one of the most important things about buugeng performance is make it clean, make it tight, make it precise. When you're putting together choreography, you can plan the transitions to help you with that cleanliness. You can plan it, and this is one of the big things I've been working on recently, is planning movements, planning transitions, so that you're in the right position to smoothly move into the next set of you know, the next set of movements. Like, for example, I could have been holding these the whole time, but you know, you're doing your spin here, and then if the next thing you're going to do is, you know, same direction spin, well, instead of, you know, taking your spin and then going, okay, I'm going to do that, there, you know, a quick, you know, really quick transition, or even just automatically into spinning it. You know, you can do things like that. But plan that in the choreography. Again, transitions are a big part of planning, for me transitions between movements are just as important as, planning the movements themselves. Again, I like my performances to be very smooth, very very flowy. And again, a lot of people like to keep the prop moving at all times. One of the things that I've learned is there are definitely parts in the songs when you just stop movement. There are absolutely, parts of songs, parts of performances where you can just, just stop, just freeze right there as the music does a particular stop or a drop or something like that. You just freeze, and then maybe go in reverse, or things like that. So those are the kind of things to think about when you're planning out the choreography, and also think about levels and texture. If you look at my earliest, or even not so early, Buugeng performances, one of the things I do is I'm always at the same level. I'm always in the middle. I'm always, like on the small screen that I'm kind of monitoring this video on. I can keep the Buugeng in that little small screen. Add some texture, add some layers, add some flavor. Do stuff low. Do stuff high. Do stuff multi-level. I love, whatever. But add textures, add layer to the movements when you're doing the choreography, and it adds a more visually impressive or visually interesting element to the performance. And the same with being on stage. And stage presence is something I'm still, woefully inadequate on and continue to work on. But again, my earlier performances is I stand in one place on the stage. You can do so much with just some simple location changes and stay on the stage. Just walk up. Pull back. There's usually when you're doing a performance, not all of them. Sometimes you have little tiny postage stamp stages, but usually when you're doing a performance, you have a lot of room on the stage. So keep it interesting by moving around the stage. Some feedback I got from another Buugeng spinner after I posted a video probably a couple of years ago now at a performance was I was moving around the stage a lot, but I wasn't moving the Buugeng in conjunction with my movements on the stage, which is something I never really thought about. But if I'm moving one way and the Buugeng are moving another, it can take away from some of the Buugeng. So I try to move with the Buugeng. Make again, it's all about kind of those the visual elements and that the illusion, the optical illusion of the prop. So that's kind of my basics of choreography. Again, think of the song, each part of the song. Not only think about what kind of movement you want to do in that part of the song, but also how are you going to transition from that part of the song into the next part of the song. How can you make it interesting? How can you change levels? Things of that nature. Give it more texture. Give it more feeling. Because there's a huge difference, and I watch some of the other, like really, really good Buugeng spinners, like, Colin Peterson, who's one of my idols, and they utilize the prop to its fullest. They're not just standing there going, oh, look at how cool this optical illusion is, which is still, that's why I got into Buugeng, is stuff like this, but, they're doing movements, they're doing huge movements, they're using the entirety of the stage, they're using everything, they're using their bodies, they're using their musicality, and putting on a really visually stunning performance. So that's what I'm trying for. That's where the choreography is coming in for me, because I found when I was just doing regular improv flow, I would certainly, especially if I got really nervous on stage, just fall back on just, all right, it's a song, here's the song, I'm just doing this for the audience, and maybe I'll do this, and throw a pinwheel into it, okay, there's my performance. And it's cool. I mean, I like some of my old performances, but I think working towards more choreography takes my art up another level. So that's it for kind of the basics of choreography for Buugeng. Again, give it texture, give it levels. Use the space that you've got, and think about keeping the prop flowing, keeping the prop moving until it's time to stop it. Use stops to accentuate the song, to accentuate the movements, to accentuate the performance. And I guess the next video, I've already done over 10 minutes. Okay, I didn't want to go that long. The next video, I'll start playing with the song, putting movements to certain parts of the song, and that's really how I build it up. At that point, is just taking notes, trying to piece together the different parts of the song, and see how I can put together a nice cohesive performance that looks good, that feels good, that feels good at the song. So, next video.